to employ British people over somebody from Poland without fearing they've breached discrimination rules.
Do you have any evidence at all that employers would pick British people? Surely they pick the cheapest hard working, and that is why they're picking people who are British.
Well, it's certainly true that uncontrolled mass migration from southern and eastern Europe has driven down the price of labour and has led to increasing unemployment in Britain, particularly amongst the young black community, where in parts of London now nearly 50% of them find themselves unemployed. The point I want to change the law so there is a presumption in favour of British workers. I am not talking about changing the Race Relations Act in this country or anything of the kind. This is a presumption in favour of young black and white British people.
So you're saying your intention is, in some cases, to get a job for a young black Caribbean chap over the white Polish immigrant?
Yeah, that's right. I think we have a duty in this country to do our very best to make sure that our own people get jobs first.
But removing discrimination laws, you then can't control how people behave.
Well, I'm not talking about abolishing race relations in this country. I'm talking about lightening employment legislation so that small employers, and don't forget there are only 5 million small businesses in Britain, are less fearful of taking on young British workers.
You say your kids don't know about race. Do you really think it's gone away to that extent?
You know, I think we as a country beat ourselves up on this whole issue of race. The reality is the world has moved on from 50 years ago when we brought this legislation in. We are the freest and easiest country and most relaxed country in the whole of Europe on the issue of race.
Sadiq Khan finds what you're saying unbelievable. He thinks we have moved on, but we've got a very long way to go. If you remove these laws, you really cannot control how people will act.
Well, Sadiq Khan is in favour of an open labour market with hundreds of millions of people in the European Union. And so he believes they must all be treated equally. I don't believe that. I think we should treat British people and give them better and bigger opportunities.
On the Muslim and Islamophobic question, you are riding a wave. You may be creating and riding a wave of Islamophobia. Talk of fifth column doesn't help that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I reject that completely. What I've said is this is the first ever migrant population that has come to this country that have within it a small number of people who actually want to get rid of our culture, destroy it and replace it with Sharia law. And we've never faced this prospect before, and that is deeply concerning to the British people. I would have thought that's one of the least controversial things I've ever said.
Do you think you're riding a wave of Islamophobia?
No, certainly not. You know, and you know, we've got Muslim people, members of UKIP, candidates for UKIP. This is not about that. This is about defending our Judeo-Christian values in this country.
Lastly, you sent a tweet back to Sadiq Khan talking about, well, upset that he spoke at a Cage event. It seems to have been withdrawn. What's happening there today?
Well, there is some confusion over this. He certainly shared a stage with Cage. Whether they sponsored it or not is a little bit murky. But either way, you know, what we've seen today is a willful misinterpretation by both senior Conservative and Labour politicians about what I have said. I am not proposing abolishing the race relations laws in Britain, but I am about relaxing employment laws to give young, unemployed, black and white British people a better chance of getting work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.